3
Oh,
consecutive
no.
We're out of the inning. Terrible. Terrible. We cannot hit. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's a Mike and Scott extravaganza for the next 3 shows. Rock on. What's up, Scott? You were up in the upper. Speaking of up, you were in the UP.
The UP, they call them Upers up there.
Upers.
Most of my time, I'm considered a troll because I live under the bridge. But
look at that.
But
I didn't
but
until I met you, so I'm learning all kinds of Michigan stuff.
Michigan's awesome, man.
I gotta get up there. I was gonna do next year when I'm 51. I'll do the half marathon.
There we go.
I gotta get that passport card thing.
You gotta work on that.
I do. So happy Memorial Day, everybody. Hope you are having some good stuff. And did you getting barbecue or anything today? I know.
No, like we ended up going to like Buffalo Wild Wings for like kind of like a late lunch, and so I don't know. We were invited to a barbecue. Emily was, but she never let us know that my in-laws invited us to a barbecue until it was too late. So,
dang.
So no barbecue for us. That's all good. That's all right though.
I mean, we didn't really have barbecue. We went like Paige came down from Chicago, so we made 3 hamburgers because Paige doesn't eat hamburgers. So we went to the grocery store. She got some like chicken breasts, and she grilled a couple of chicken breasts. We had made 3 hamburgers and like a couple of ears of corn on the cob. So because Mallory's at the swimming pool, so it wasn't like we had a full on barbecue, but at least we got to use the grill.
Nice.
Which when we opened it up, we found out there's a wasp nest under it because the first time we used it this year. So I was wondering.
Oh yeah, like my burner kind of has something going on. I noticed the other day. I was like, oh no! I had to like quick slam that thing. Like, what am I gonna do with that?
Oh, home run Royals. Oh my gosh.
At least you're not getting no hit anymore.
Yeah, no, we were getting perfect game. That was even better by the Royals on a holiday. Yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, this team. Why do I wear my Cardinal stuff? Okay.
So I actually looked at the standings today because my rule is I don't look at any standings until Memorial Day. That's a
good rule. I've always heard that. That's a good rule.
So I saw that the A's only have 10 wins, which is kind of wild. The Tigers are only 1 game back, which is crazy to think. So
that is, the Cardinals should be 50 back, but I think they were 5 out to start the day.
The AL East, everyone is above 500.
Yeah.
Only the Twins are the only team above 500 in the Central. It's just some weird storylines.
Yeah, this year is super weird. I'm just glad we're in the National League Central, so we have a chance. We'd be buried in almost any other one. Anyway, so we have our first question in the inbox is actually one that I've been waiting for you to come on the show because it's for you.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, all right. So if you have a question, I know it's going to be a little slow because it's obviously it's a holiday and people are probably at the pool and doing stuff. But Tom and Jocelyn were at the game and they left after the hit. So Nolan Arenado sent them home because Blues Traveler Girl, she lives right here down the street from me here in St. Peter's or O'Fallon, and it's hot today too. I don't think they gave away anything today. I think it was giveaway day. I don't think it was. Okay, so listener questions. We're going to do a draft. So if you have any ideas for drafts, you can throw that in the comments, and we'll do that. But questions in the comments would be great because we need questions. And here we go. This is $22.95. Welcome to episode 2295 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend here in the States. And if you're listening outside of the United States, hope you are having just a great week. And we are here together around the podcast player thing. I wish we were just gathered around the fire at Illuminations, but that ain't happening right now. But maybe someday we can all be gathered around World Showcase watching an awesome nighttime spectacular, whatever the next one will be. But until then, we're here to answer your listener questions. And we're giving the ladies the day off today because, again, we recorded on a holiday, so I had to go to my brother from another mother. I can always count on him. Your friend of mine, hashtag Scotty G. What's up, Scott? Happy Memorial Day as we record.
Happy Memorial Day, Mike, and happy Wednesday to those listening on the feed. And yes, Mike, you said you can always count on me, but man, did I have so many technical issues today. But that's why I have backup, technology. I have a backup laptop my OG system, as you will, came through today because my newest technology wasn't good enough today. But I'm glad we're able to get things rolling so that we can continue the Cal Ripken streak and get another episode out.
So we got to do. I'm got to get it to that number. It's in the 2600s. We're closing in. Knock on wood. I'm very superstitious, so not going to talk about it too much. But always want to have a show out there for you to listen to that is worth your time. But real quick, I know that you spent a little time in the UP in the Upper Peninsula. For those of us not from Michigan, I'm not, but I just like to pretend like I am. So just give a couple minutes of highlights from the past weekend, because I know you hosted one of our Be Our Guest podcast friends, Marlessa.
Yes, so we hosted Marlessa from New York City. So it was jam-packed. Like, we really didn't have much downtime, which the Upper Peninsula really is all about downtime. It's like a big camping area. There's not a whole lot to do. There's huge forest, beautiful long winding roads, things like that, places to relax. But we were just on the go. We went to Mackinac Island for the day. It was so Memorial Day weekend is really when the island opens up, because it's the unofficial start to summer. So tons of great people, tons of people on the island that day. The weather was perfect. We played mini golf, went on a carriage tour, had a really nice dinner right there on Lake Huron. I almost said Michigan. That would have been a big mistake. Then we went over to Quamanon Falls the next day, saw the big waterfall. Went over to Pictured Rock, so Lake Superior, which is this awesome thing where you go on this boat, this cruise really, and then you get to see these awesome rocks, and a lot of them had these cool images. If you look close enough, use your imagination, you can see faces and all these hearts and things like that. It's really neat. It's a 2-hour ride, but it's a good ride, and the weather was really perfect for that because I've been on there where it's been super cold there in Lake Superior. So then later that night we had some pizza, then we made our way back down and went to this huge spring that pumps out 10 gallons of water a minute. It was really cool. The problem with that though was really mosquito-y. So we had to buy tons of bug spray, and we're still getting torn up on this little raft we were on. And then we stopped off at Lake Michigan on the beach. So Marlessa got to see 3 of the 5 Great Lakes.
Yeah, except for what? You didn't see Huron or Erie,
no,
right?
So, no, we saw Huron. So Huron. So
Ontario. You didn't see Ontario.
Yeah, so the Straits of Mackinac is where Lake Michigan and Huron meet. So Marlessa saw those 2. Then we went up to Superior. Yeah. So Erie touches a little bit of Michigan, on the east side of the state, not by much. And then Ontario is more like New York and Canada, really, over there. So she definitely got some good Great Lakes in. She got some car time. She's a New Yorker, so she's not in a car very much. So she definitely got her full.
I never thought about that. Yeah, she's from the city. Yeah, I'd be the real city.
Because us Midwesterners, man, we drive everywhere, right? So we're used to long road trips. So that was kind of.
I didn't think about that. Did she think that was wild to me? Because to us, that's nothing. You just drive across the state for 5
She did pretty good. She slept sometimes, which is what you do in a car ride, right? When you're going from place to place. So she got some good napping in. But yeah, lots of great eating, lots of conversation. The Mackinac Island day was perfect. I did my favorite run that I always like to do when I'm on the island, where you run the perimeter. It's a nice 8.2-mile trek where you're constantly looking at the lake. You can see the bridge and all these beautiful nature sites. It's just an awesome run, and I'm tired. So all that time in the car, all that fresh air, because we were constantly outside getting fresh air. We were lucky and fortunate to have a great weather weekend. But now that it's Monday at the time of this recording, I've been at it for 3 days. I am tired, but ready to take some listener questions. This is my favorite show to record.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, you get home from your, Walt Disney World vacation, you're exhausted. You had a good time, but you're just go, and you're outside and you're doing stuff. And, I'm sure you're kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Real quick, the connection that I had with Disney, and you sent a picture to Wade and myself. And I guess a lot of the people who go to Mackinac Island are just kind of day guests, and they go and then they leave, I guess, the evening sets in and kind of leave. But you guys, I guess, had a hotel there that night, and it just looked like the main street downtown area. And you took a picture, and it just looked like, oh my gosh, it's like Main Street if you could stay there at park closing. It was so cool looking.
It's so cool. It is so cool. And then this time of year, the days are super long too. So at 9:30, 9:35 is when the sun was setting. The next day when we went further west up to Lake Superior, the sunset was at 9:55. Isn't that just awesome?
That's wild.
It's so crazy. But the best way to do it, because this is like Marlesa's first time, so we wanted to show her a lot of things, right? The best way to do Mackinac though is like do 2 or 3 days and just like take your time, rent bikes, just take a day where you just sit on a porch and just relax and just enjoy in the atmosphere. So that's something that we were kind of missing. That's why we're so exhausted, because we were just on the go. But that is the real way to do it, which I hope to maybe do later this summer, where you just get a couple of days where you just do nothing and relax.
Yeah, I always say I'm going to do that at Walt Disney World. Then you get down there and we're all
I know, right?
That, right? Like I'm just going to sit on a bench. I'm just going to chill at my hotel, and we never.
That's what I'm doing this summer. We'll see how it goes, but that's what I plan on.
I mean, that like my first 2 days, like before the cruise, we don't have park tickets. Like I just keep telling myself I'm just gonna go to the pool and just chill at Coronado and watch. We'll end up at Disney Springs, running around, doing all. You know it's gonna happen, but we'll see. Okay, first question of the day. I've been waiting to answer this one for about 2 weeks because you had to be on the show, because it's from Claire. She's in Boston. And she says, episode 2288, BOGP open line on May 14th. Scott casually slid in Scotty Feelin' Yachty playlist. What is this glorious set list? Can Scott please share? Can someone please make the remix tape? Thanks for putting out an awesome podcast every week, Claire. So you did mention this, and so she just wants a little 411 on this Scotty Feelin' Yachty playlist that I think you listen to at the pool sometimes.
I love the question, Claire. But yes, actually, right now we're like, it is officially Yacht Rock season. Like when XM Radio launches their Yacht Rock, which they did about a week ago, it's officially the time. But I always have Scotty Feelin' Yachty queued up. Like it could be a cold December night, and you just feel like, oh man, I wish I was out on that water getting yachty right now. So I always have it ready. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to share it. It's basically like a mix of like my like top 100-ish, I would say, Yacht Rock songs, you know. So when you're at the pool, when you're on a long car drive, wherever you may be, you might be like just on the deck, just like hanging out, like talking with family, having a fire or whatever. It is the perfect playlist for that. It's on Apple iTunes, so I can make it shareable. So I will do that this week. And then maybe I'll tweet it out, or Mike can get in touch with Claire to let her know where to find it. But yep, Scotty's Feelin' Yachty.
All right. And it is, I mean, because we've all been on the podcast, Pam, Scott, Ricky, we've all been kind of going back and forth in the text messages about, you know, oh, it's you know, we got a little reminiscing by a Little River Band playing, or you know, that we see, because Yacht Rock is upon us.
I will say I have some deep cuts in there, because like there's some, because it's my playlist. It's Scotty is feeling yachty. It's not Mike is feeling yachty.
Yeah, that's right. No,
there are some tunes that might be specific towards me that you don't see on normal Yacht Rock stations, but that's all right. If you don't like them, you can just skip by them. But hopefully you learn something good from it.
Hall & Oates, one of my favorite artists, but I just don't consider them Yacht Rock. I love them.
You tuned out there for a second. No, what was that, Mike?
I said Hall & Oates are one of my favorite artists of all time. Love Hall & Oates, but I just don't consider them Yacht Rock.
I know there's some bands I don't like. I think this is what started it, because we were talking about Air Supply, right? And I was like, Air Supply is not. Yes, I don't think Air Supply is Yacht Rock to me.
I think they are. That's why I like Yacht Rock, because you can debate it. But yeah, even the night better. Okay, next question, because we'll get into that forever. Ashley's got a question. Hey there. I know I've asked a question recently, but y'all are a great resource. This may be a silly question, but we're returning to Disney after a 10-year hiatus, and we're staying at All-Star Movies. Every video I watch about these resorts shows the beds just covered in sheets, although no one ever seems to complain about being cold on the videos. I know Florida's hot, but I do like a blanket. Do we ask for those at the front desk? Since I'm driving, do I bring my own? Do we all just sleep in a light layer of sheets, and is it fine? Help me clear up the mystery. Thanks again. Ashley's in Villa Rica, Georgia. So now I have the same issue, and I have actually in the past packed a blanket and brought it with me. Now I have a thin blanket. It's actually a Be Our Guest podcast blanket I got made on some, I think Pam got it made for me, like for a birthday or something. It's not super thick, so I can pack it into a suitcase, because I am one at home. Like in our bedroom, I have a big thick Mizzou blanket because when we go to bed, man, we put the air down cold all year round. Like it's cold in our house. And so when I go to Walt Disney World, I need something heavy on top of me. And it freaks, like I can't stand that there's nothing like that. So I just deal with it when I'm there sometimes if I don't bring a blanket, but I do pack a blanket sometimes. But I think I want to say, am I not wrong, Scott, that there's a blanket like up on the corner, maybe like packed away?
Yeah, so like in the closet area, they sometimes have extra pillows and blankets that you can open up. So we will use that sometimes because we like extra pillows too a lot of the time. So we like to get into that. But we usually do have a blanket, at least one, because Emily is usually cold. So and sometimes on a plane you can get cold. So we tend to pack some blankets for our travel, and then it just kind of carries over into the resort. So sometimes we use them, sometimes they just stay in our backpacks. But like you, Mike, I like to make the room really cold. So and the girls don't like it as much, so they like to have the extra blankets. So yeah, so you do have the extra blanket that you can get from the closet, or yeah, you can pack your own if that works for you too.
Especially if I'm driving, I would totally bring one because you just throw it in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
what's
easy. Yeah.
there? I mean, flying, it's more of a challenge because, blankets are going to take up a ton of space. But I would try to find like it's like a fleece blanket. So it's rather thin, but it's another layer. And so it gets the
Yep.
job done. Yeah. I know a lot of people said, Pam Forrester was like the one that really led this cheering was that I'm so glad they got rid of those bedspreads, probably about 7, 8 years ago, whenever they did that 5 years ago, because who knows, how often they clean those. And I never thought about it until she said that, because I was like, oh, I love them because they're heavy and like that they're, old school. That's how I grew up, always had those. But it is a cleaner look with that, and those beds are so dang tight to get into, like, especially I swear at Pop Century, I got to pry myself into those sheets. Like, they're so dang tight. Like, you can barely
They
fit
are
in.
tight. I'm glad they got rid of the bedspreads though, because we always took them off anyway, and then you like, had to find a place to put them, and it like took
I
up
never did.
space
I
wherever
never
it
thought
was.
about
Yeah,
it. You did. You see, I wonder how many people did that. Like, I
yeah,
never
we
thought of
always did. So maybe that's what they saw. Maybe the mousekeeping was like,
maybe.
hey, like 7 out of 10 rooms, like take these off. Like maybe we don't need these anymore.
But it's probably time to like replace them. And they're like, well, people aren't using them. So why buy
Yeah.
them again? Yeah, it's so funny because I never even thought about it. I just jumped in like, okay, got under them. Anyway, next question is from Jessica out in New Jersey. Hello, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scotty G. I'm a longtime listener and love your show. Me and my family are DVC members and we go often, but this is our first trip since my son turned 3 and he has his own annual pass now. My question is Rider Swap the same as before he needed tickets, or even if I pay for a ride like Rise of the Resistance and Seven Dwarves? We used to take turns taking him on rides and staying with my daughter, so I'm not sure if we're doing it right to begin with. Also, we'll be staying at Boardwalk 10 days the week of the 4th of July. Do you know if any of the special characters or events they do at any of the parks for the holiday? We will have park reservations at Epcot for the 4th just to see the fireworks. I didn't do the cruise because my daughter will only be 9 months at the time, but hoping to see everyone before or after. Thanks so much for all you do, Jessica. Okay, so first of all, let's answer the question. So he's 3, he's got his own ticket. Rider swap. It's not based on age, it's based on height, correct? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
that has nothing to do with age or whether somebody has a ticket or not. It's just based on whether the kid is tall enough to ride the attraction. Am I right on that?
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. I never used Rider Stop, but I've seen it used in the park. So, and Jessica asked about Rise of the Resistance and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, those ones that you buy the individual lightning lane for, and I've seen those work as well. So, as long as your child doesn't meet that height requirement and you actually did pay for it, you have the correct amount of admission for that fast pass, you can still use Rider Swap for those two.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. So you're going to be fine. And the lucky thing is that I always said that Paige called Mallory like a golden fast pass because that's what it was back in the day because she got to ride twice, right? She got to ride with both Pam and myself because when we did the rider swap, one of us would sit with Mallory at the time. She got to go both times. So that was kind of a lucky thing for her. So your second child will get to.
The
Or,
golden fast pass. I
I
like
mean,
that.
that's what I said. Like you should love your daughter or your sister Mallory because you get to ride everything 2 times. And then special events around. We've been many times over the 4th of July to Walt Disney World. We tend to go to Epcot for the 4th of July. Ironically enough, we tend to go to Chefs de France on the 4th of July and have dinner, and then we watch fireworks many times. We had a big meetup in Japan too one year. It was, God, we had so many people come out and see us. It was still one of my favorite days ever. I couldn't believe it. But just walk Jessica through like some of the things that go on at the 4th of July, like from your memory. We've had epic pool days on the 4th of July too, by the way.
Yeah, we've had epic pool days at the boardwalk on 4th of July.
Yes, yes, we have.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a day. I mean, it's not as chaotic as like New Year's Eve would be at Epcot, but it's still a big deal, right? I mean, it's a huge day for fireworks and things like that, and a lot of people go to Epcot. But I would just say, if you want to be there at night, obviously, so just like take it easy, right? I mean, you're right there by the resort, so maybe sleep in a little bit, have your pool day. It's going to be hot, it's 4th of July there in Florida. It's going to be a hot day, so just have fun at the resort, and then maybe like casually roll in. Make sure you have your ADR right because it's going to be kind of busy. Make sure you can eat, and then get your spot for the 4th of July fireworks. As far as like characters around the resort, I don't recall in the past there really being many characters like out on 4th of July, like at the boardwalk per se, but they do try to tend to have some activities. I would just try to, as soon as you can, as soon as they release anything, look at like an activities guide for the resort, and they might have some more information there.
Now, we'll say Disney has been doing these. Now, these I don't think these are something you can count on, but they have been doing those character caravans where all of a sudden, like at the Riviera, this like little camper van will show up, and all of a sudden the characters will be at the Riviera for like an hour. Just 2 or 3 characters will show up, get your picture with them. And I will say that during crazy busy times, I've seen characters on the pool deck at Beach Club and Yacht Club at Stormalong Bay.
Yeah.
And so maybe over at the boardwalk, who knows? I mean, so I'm not saying, I would not count on this, but just keep your head on a swivel. You may see, maybe Daisy Duck, Donald Duck, cruising through your pool deck, but I mean, don't plan your day for that, but I mean, it could happen. So that'd be great. And 4th of July is a great time to be there though. It's so much fun, but just that is a day, like Scott just said, you really don't want to rope drop Epcot. It's so hard to make it to the fireworks. Like you want to pool day it, chill, relax, go in like late afternoon with an ADR to sit down in a restaurant, get in the air conditioning, and then pop out of your air conditioned restaurant from dinner at like 6 o'clock and just chill, and just like, okay, we're here for the fireworks.
Another thing too, at the boardwalk, since you're DVC too, like go to the the DVC community center too. They might be doing some like 4th of July related stuff, and it might probably won't even be for that just particular day. It might be for the whole week. They're doing like American themed activities. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw anything like that either.
And if you don't get lunch at Regal Eagle, you're doing it wrong. Come on. Come on now. Okay. Brian's got a question, and we got to clarify this for him because we almost have him doing something wrong here. What's up, fellas? Maybe I dreamt this, but I thought at one point I heard you guys say that you could get a Monte Cristo sandwich somewhere at the Riviera. We're staying at Caribbean Beach this July. I was hoping to hop on over to grab one. I hate to tell you this, but we got good news and bad news. You can't get a Monte Cristo over at the Riviera. However, the sandwich we're talking about is almost as epic. It's really good. It's called the Scott. What's it called again?
The croque madame, I believe.
Yeah,
what it's called. It's a breakfast sandwich.
It's available all day.
Is it? Wow.
It's on the menu all day because I've looked. Yeah, it's all day, but it is like a breakfast sandwich. So it's
kind of like your Monte Cristo. I mean, it's not. I could see it kind of on the same lines as Monte Cristo. The big difference is that there's an egg on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have like the powdered sugar.
Yeah, it's not fried really like that. Yeah.
But
it's good though. But it's got like similar meats. Let's just put it that way. They both have like turkey.
It's really good though. Yeah, I put them next to each other as super good. Both sandwiches. I mean, they are worth it. Definite, Brian. It's worth walking over and getting this sandwich. It is amazing. Yeah.
And I would tell Brian though, like if he ever makes his way out to Anaheim, he's got to get a Blue Bayou ADR so he can have the Monte Cristo out there too, because that's really good. If he's a Monte Cristo guy.
I'm just saying I'm just saying it because you're here, because you scheduled this ADR that we had out there. One of my best days ever was our last day at Disneyland. We had our meal at Blue Bayou, Monte Cristo, hurricanes with my family, with your family. I mean, I just remember sitting there thinking it just doesn't get much better than this, man. With my best buds, his family, my family, like I'm sitting in parts of the Caribbean, having an amazing sandwich, a hurricane. Had a great waiter. I was like, yeah, I mean, just had an awesome trip. I was like, oh man, that was the best day.
It was a really great day. But now it's got me thinking, where's the Monte Cristo at Walt Disney World? I think we got a research assignment now, Mike. We gotta go to all the places and locate that Monte Cristo.
Is there not a Monte Cristo on Property World somewhere?
I don't know. It's got me thinking. I'm going to do some research, Brian. I'll let you know what I find out, but there's got to be one somewhere.
See, I had this problem here. Now Blues Traveler Girl here in the chat will get this because I was at Gingham's. You know Gingham's. You've been to Gingham's when you're here in St. Louis. It's in a new location, like 2 doors over now. But we went there Saturday night for dinner, and they have a really good Monte Cristo on because it's a diner, and they have a good Monte Cristo too. But I went for breakfast food. I had to get biscuits and gravy and pancakes, but I almost got the Monte Cristo because it's hard to pass up a Monte Cristo when it's on the menu. Now I'm craving one. I might have to go there tonight.
You got to go to Columbia and go to Cheddar's and get one there.
Yes, I know. We don't have cheddar. For real. And Paige is in Columbia because she's there with the basketball coach, and she's not changing jobs. I shouldn't have even said that out loud. She's still working for UIC. She's just there on a visit. Okay, but she walks she's going to talk with the Mizzou basketball coach. She walks out of the house. She's got UIC stuff on from head to toe. I'm like, Paige, you have closets full of Mizzou stuff. Put on some old Mizzou stuff. She's like, I bring any with me. I'm like, there's stuff down here still. Take your stuff out of your old closet. It's in the studio now, which used to be her bedroom. Anyway, next question. It says BOGP podcast question. Mom, Dad's night out in Epcot. I have a trip to Walt Disney World coming up this August with 2 families, 12 of us all together. We're starting the trip with 5 nights at Caribbean Beach Resort and then 7 nights in a vacation home in Windsor Hills. While at Caribbean Beach, we're planning on a mom's night out, and then another night is dad's night out. Any suggestions of what we could do? I'm thinking in and around Epcot, as it'll be easy to hop on the Skyliner, looking for unique special things to focus on with our friends, and while we're not looking after the kids who are aged 1 to 7 too. Thanks. Love the podcast and all you do. Emma is listening all the way over in Hampshire, United Kingdom. How about that?
That's awesome.
So I like this. They're doing them. I don't know if they're doing this the same time. The mom's not out. Dad's not out. I can't tell.
I think it's separate because I think someone's gonna watch the kids, right? So mom's night out, the dads watch the kids is how I'm thinking it's gonna be.
Yeah, you're pretty smart there. I like that because the dad's got to watch kids and the mom's got to watch kids and the other kids go play.
Yep.
So okay, give us some insight here, Great Gonzo. What are you gonna do?
I mean, so this can be kind of tricky, right? Because I don't know like what all the interests are. Because my big go-to, right? And I'm thinking, I mean, this could go for either group, but like if you like cocktails or if you like to have a beer, like tour the World Showcase, right? It seems like the no-brainer to me. Like you're from the UK, maybe start on the Canada side so that you can go to the UK, go to the pub, throw down a couple pints, and just kind of like snack and eat around World Showcase. I would still say like book a reservation, like have an ADR, like a Mike. You like Beer Garden? It's a place I haven't been to, but Beer Garden could be a fun place, right?
Yes.
Where you could just kind of be loud because like that's what you like to do when the moms and dads are out. Like I know that's how I am. Like I like to be loud, and you don't want to go to like a Chefs de France where it's kind of quiet in there. You want to be a little more rowdy. So like a Rose and Crown or like a Beer Garden could be like a good place for an ADR, so you can get kind of loose, have fun, and then just tour World Showcase.
I agree with that for either group, right?
Either group. Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't matter for either. And, Rob says Jelly Rolls. That'd be a fun place where you could cut loose and just have a good time. That's the Dueling Piano Bar over at the Boardwalk. The Boardwalk in general would be a good place just to kind of go stroll.
I would also like to end all of this with some competitive mini golf over by the Swan and Dolphin at the Fantasia Gardens. Like that's kind of fun too, right? The dads are like, all right, we're going to have a tournament now, the loser has to buy a round at Epcot or whatever. You can kind of make it spin into some competitive way. Moms can do that too. So everyone can do this. So I think it'd be kind of fun.
And don't forget too, I mean, they're coming from the UK and I don't know how prevalent bowling is over there. Again, I've never traveled overseas except for like on cruises to the Caribbean. So, I mean, Splitsville is kind of fun. You could bowl, they have really good food too. But I mean, I wouldn't probably, to make it more of a night out, I might end with some bowling and then, maybe go to a place like Morimoto Asia and have a good meal or, there's so many places to eat at Disney Springs. Just find a place that everybody likes, get cocktails, maybe at Jock Lindsay's, a meal somewhere, do some bowling, grab, if you want to shop, whatever it is,
But no matter what you do, if you end up at Epcot doing like the Rose and Crown or the Beer Garden and doing some drink sampling around the world, you must pay tribute to Impressions de France in France. Is all I got to say.
But they're from the UK. Is that cool? They're gonna
That is cool. Like we just need everyone going to that show to bump the attendance, so maybe they'll add more show times to the greatest attraction at Epcot.
We do. All right. We have also Brian says bowling at Splitsville is always a good time. Correct. Okay. We have a couple of suggestions. We think for a Monte Cristo possibly. So people let us know if you know this. Rick says possibly Tortuga Tavern has one. Is Tortuga Tavern back open? It's like seasonally open sometimes.
It's so seasonal. I think it's just like you just don't know. Like you just roll up there and like, yeah, we're open today.
Yeah, you're like, I got to give the secret knock. Okay,
it's the speakeasy there now.
It's like, yeah, whatever. It's not open. And then Jennifer says there's a special Monte Cristo at the Plaza last time they were there. That was really now the Plaza would make sense to have a Monte Cristo because the Plaza is that to me at Walt Disney World reminds me the most of a restaurant at Disneyland. Does that not remind you the most of a Disneyland restaurant at World?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, so I don't know if it's on their permanent menu, but that might be something I have to research this summer now. Like now I might have to look into the Plaza. That sounds good.
Okay, so if there's not a Monte Cristo on property at Walt Disney World, and I don't even get into politics ever on the show, but that needs to be put into law. Like forget all the other politics. We don't talk about that here. That's where we all need to put the wood behind our arrows. That there needs to be a law that there has to be at least that there can never be a point where there is not a Monte Cristo on some menu on it doesn't matter. Like it could be over at Steakhouse 71, it could be at Geyser Point. I don't care. It could be at Olivia's. Like it doesn't even have to be at a theme park. There has to be a Monte Cristo available at some point. So if you're on a Disney vacation at Walt Disney World, you can get your teeth into a fried ham sandwich that you can dip into some strawberry jam with some powdered sugar.
So here's a great question for you. What if they decide, yes, we're going to listen to you, Mike. Like you're absolutely right. We need to get a Monte Cristo. It's going to go to ABC Commissary. We're still going to keep the buffalo. We're still going to be the buffalo sandwich on there. Like, what do? Do you alternate which one you get, or the right answer, you just get both every time you visit?
No, I can't get both because that'd be too much.
You could share it. Like you could share it with me. Like we each get a half of Monte Cristo and a half of buffalo.
Yeah, that would be the answer there. Yeah, that is the correct answer. Hang on. Oh, that's ain't the right button. That's a different shade of blue.
It was a joke, apparently.
And Rob says the pool bar at the Riviera. Now, what the pool bar at the Riviera has a Monte Cristo sometimes. Why would the pool bar at the Riviera have a Monte Cristo? Like that is so random. Why wouldn't a solid restaurant always have a good Monte Cristo?
I love this topic though. I love that Brian brought this up because now I just want to like go on the Monte Cristo tour. Like I'm going to go to all food courts and could French Quarter or Riverside have one too? Maybe like in their like food court.
Yeah. I mean, they got the beignets, right? I mean, they could just dip them right there next to it. Come on now. Like it's not that hard. Just make
it's a research assignment in the making. This is going to happen. We got to know.
And I mean, I've said in the past, right? If I ever run for president, one of my platforms is to get rid of freestyle Coke machines. I hate those things. Those are at French Quarter too, by the way. You get an 8-year-old up there, it's going to take them 15 minutes to make a soda. Like, just stop. Like, just make your soda. Like, that and the Monte Cristo thing, I could be president. Okay, Thomas has a question here. Mike and BOGP crew, I need help, and it's in all caps. So let's see. I'm getting ready to book dining for our upcoming trip in August. My family, myself, wife, and 11-year-old daughter love Mexican food. Oh, man, you came to the right place, Thomas. Let me just tell you. Here we go. And we really want to book a dinner at the Mexican Pavilion in Epcot. There's a debate between my wife and I on which dinner reservation we should pick, San Angel Inn or La Hacienda de San Angel. Which ADR would you prefer and why? I'm going to do whatever my wife wants. Smart, but maybe I can use your opinions to help sway her to my preferred choice.
Does he say what his preferred choice is in this email?
I don't think so. So to be fair, I won't. Here we go. So to be fair, I won't tell you which restaurant she picked. Thanks so much. Love the show. Thomas is out in Ohio. Okay, so here we go. Okay, let me just ask you first. You had to pick. It's time for ADRs. You want to get some Mexican? Sit down, Epcot. You going to go to San Angel Inn or are you going to go to La Hacienda?
I enjoy both very much, but in their new pandemic world, the La Hacienda took off my favorite menu item they have at their restaurant, And because of that, I'm going to San Angel Inn because they've always been consistent. They've always been there for me. It's romantic. I know you're going to have your family with you, but I just love that vibe of like it being dark in there. You got the volcano in the background. So I'm going San Angel. Like it's always been consistent for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. You cannot beat, and this goes back to my very first, like one of my, I mean, this goes all the way back to when I was going to Walt Disney World and we would get the Burn Bombs guides, because the one restaurant that I saw in the Burn Bombs guide that I was like, someday, because this was back when I thought it was too expensive to sit down at a restaurant at Walt Disney World, right? We only ate like, hot dogs and hamburgers at quick service places because I mean, when I grew up, like at Six Flags, you didn't eat in the park. It was too expensive. Like we left the park at lunchtime and we drove my grandpa's pickup down to KFC and we all sat in the bed of the truck and ate a bucket of chicken. That's how we went to a theme park. So my brain was all messed up. You didn't eat in a theme park, but we were on vacation, so we had to, but we didn't eat sit down food. We only ate quick service. But I told myself when I saw that, the book, I'm like, dude, there's a volcano inside the restaurant and it's Mexican someday. That is gonna happen. Like I had really lofty goals, people, but I did. And I still think you can't beat the ambiance of that place. I think the foods are similar. I think the menu's a little bit better at La Hacienda. But the one thing about the San Angel, the atmosphere is awesome. The boats going by, the smoke coming out of the pyramid. You got to go there. It's amazing. But it is so, and I know I'm getting older. It is so dang dark in there. It doesn't matter what they serve you. You can't see it. Like, I don't know. They could, like, I order something and it's real Mexican food. Cause it's not like, you're not going to get like an enchilada and a taco. Like I get at my place at LS Teca. Like I'm not getting the 15. It's real fancy stuff, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I can't see what it is anyway. And it all kind of tastes similar. So I'm good. It's good food. I mean, but you can't see it. It's so dark.
It is dark in there, and that's why I like that vibe better. But La Hacienda, like if you time it right too, you might have like a firework viewing, and it's
That's true.
I like the menu there, but they had this platter for two, Mike, where it just like loaded everything on this huge platter, which was like my go-to over at La Hacienda. And now the menu is still good. Maybe I need to check it out again because it's been a little while, but like just for like the atmosphere, like everything you just hit upon, like San Angel is my my answer.
Now, so I'm trying to think. So I would go San Angel though for the atmosphere, Hacienda probably a little bit for the menu, but yeah, overall San Angel is what we're saying. I'm thinking.
And either way, your family's going to win because you're going to have a great night.
You are
eating Mexican food, so just go with your wife's answer as the right one. I would say
would.
that's actually really what the best answer is. And I'm so curious to know what it was.
And here's the other thing. This is what I was thinking of. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. I was having a senior moment. The cantina is a really good place to get counter service Mexican too. So if like you want that kind of vibe on that side of the World Showcase Promenade, like you want to go, say you were kind of hoping for La Hacienda, but you end up going to San Angel Inn, which I mean, that's a win because of the atmosphere. Maybe on another day you can get counter service Mexican food at the cantina and sit in there along the water. And that's that is one of the best places to get counter service food. And that food is actually good. The empanadas, they have really good guacamole. You can get a margarita there. I like it.
It's a good spot.
All right. We have a question here just popped up. So I was trying to get to this for Adam. Going on the Disney Wish in June of 2024 for 3 nights. Since the cruise is so short, we want to use this opportunity to tour Port Canaveral and also visit Universal and Vero Beach DVC Resort. Looking for suggestions on how to sequence these stops, considering we'll need a rental for at least portions of the trip, not opposed to using Uber when necessary. So he's going on the Disney Wish in June of next year, 3-night cruise. So we've done this. We've stayed over at Port Canaveral. It's a really interesting place. There's a lot to do over there. So what would you, you've never been to Vero, have you?
No, but I've heard so many wonderful things about Vero, and that's almost like, if you're asking for like, it sounds like Adam's asking for like the order of operations, how to do this. Like I would almost do like Universal first and just like wear yourself out, right? Like go, do all the attractions and all that. Then make your way to Port Canaveral, do some touring there, go on your ship. And a ship, the cruise is relaxing, right? But there's a lot of activities you're going to be doing too, right? You're going to maybe do some wine, some tastings or whatever. You're going to go to Castaway Cay and do like a bunch of adventures there. So, I mean, you're going to be doing stuff while relaxing, but the Vero beach is like the ultimate relaxation. You're just there on the beach enjoying like the calmness. You know, it's a little bit quieter over there than the cruise. So that's kind of like how I would finish off the trip. And I know he has a question about transportation, but that's the order I would like to go. I don't know what you're thinking, Mike.
No, it sounds about right to me too. And it's, that's, I like, because you do have a short cruise. So take advantage and really kind of segment it, right? But you're right. Universal first, wear yourself out, because everything else is going to be chill and just kind of recover and be like, whoo, not sound relaxed. So what would you say as far as transportation? Because you are one who always rents a car.
Yeah, I mean, so I would just quote my options, because I'm considering this for our cruise that we have coming up in about a month. It seems silly, right, to rent a car and pay for a rental car and park your car at Port Canaveral. But sometimes, depending on the price you get, it might actually be more cost savings than doing a transfer of some sort, like having like a car service take you, so you guys, I would just say crunch some numbers, and then also consider the Ubers, right? So maybe you rent the car for the first half of the trip, and then you take an Uber to Port Canaveral. But I think you're going to want your car because of where like Vero is. Like I know Vero is like a little bit of a hike compared to everything else. So I would recommend like maybe after you get off the ship, find a car rental close by in port, and then do your car for your Vero part of the trip, because I believe parking would be free if you're a DVC member too staying there. So you would have free parking, which would be good. So I would try to do the car rental after the cruise to get to Vero and then back to the airport.
All right. Good tip, and have a good time. Adam. Okay. We got 2 questions, real quick one. I think this one's a good one for you because you use Disney gift cards a lot, Scott. And I wasn't sure about this one. It's from Aaron. It says, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're going to Disney Springs the first day of our trip in June. Do the following accept Disney gift cards: Raglan Road, T-Rex Cafe, and Splitsville. Do places like that? Have you ever tried to use a Disney gift card there? Because I'm not a Disney gift card user very often.
Yeah, so how I use my gift cards usually is I just load them all up, right? Like I put like, max amount, like $500 to $600, $700, whatever on them. And I use if I'm staying on a site, I use my Magic Band for everything, and then I'll just pay it off at the resort. I just think it's easier because then you could just do one swipe of the gift card and just pay for all your purchases. But I would just
use them anywhere. That's actually a great thought. That way you could totally use them.
Exactly. Yeah. But not all these restaurants. I mean, Disney Springs is weird, right? Because it's not all Disney owned restaurants in shopping districts. So a lot of times they might not even accept Magic Bands. And if that's the case, if they're not accepting Magic Bands, I would say they're probably not accepting the Disney gift card. But I would say most of them do. I believe you can go out into the websites and kind of search that too to confirm like what type of payments they accept. In most cases, they would accept the Disney gift card, I would say.
Yeah, I would think it'd be more hassle if they didn't, because just the environment, a lot of people have them. So, All right, last question of the day from our live chat here from Patricia. Thanks for joining us on Facebook as we record live. Going down in August and staying off-site with a car for the first time, would we be able to park the car at Hollywood and ride the Skyliner to Epcot to start the day if we plan to park hop in the afternoon back to Hollywood Studios? Any other tips for off-site or parking are welcome as well. Okay, so let's think about this. She wants to drive over to Hollywood Studios, park the car. So you'd be paying to park the car at Hollywood Studios, jump on the Skyliner, go to Epcot. Yeah, you'd be able to do that. That'd be totally fine, right?
I would just say, like, just check on the hours of operation for the Skyliner, because
so you can get back.
So you make sure, because if Epcot is opening later than Hollywood Studios, you want to make sure like the Hollywood line on the Skyliner is still going to be open by the time you're ready to leave Epcot and such. That I would just hate to be stranded in your car stuck at Hollywood Studios.
And the thing about the Skyliner, you always have to remember is watch the sky, because bad weather shuts the Skyliner down, and any kind of lightning, heavy winds, stuff like that, that Skyliner will shut down. So you're going to have, I mean, you could probably still get back by bus, but that's going to take a whole lot longer. So just,
because I've seen this happen where like people tried to leave Hollywood Studios and use the boat to go to Epcot, but then like the boat might not make it in time where International Gateway will open again. So then their car is at Epcot because they went over the studios. Like I've seen like nightmare things happen like that. So just keep your eye on the hours and consider like the sky too. Like you said, Mike,
weather can play all kinds of havoc with when you're, I mean, the Skyliner is great, but you do have to, the Skyliner is weather dependent big time, because I got burned. I didn't get burned by that when I was down my last trip, but I did get to where I had to be creative, where the Skyliner got shut down. everybody slammed to the Pop Centuries bus area, and I decided I just went on I ended up at the Riviera and took an Uber back to Pop, and I saved an hour.
Worst case scenario, though, she could leave Epcot and just walk the boardwalk resorts and take that path over. I mean, that'd be a long hike, but that would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute walk. You could do it. I mean, it's better than that.
I think it's gonna be longer. Like if you're leaving World Showcase, you got to walk all the way around the resorts. I guess you would walk to boardwalk, and that would cut some space. Yeah, you would walk to boardwalk and then get on the path over there. Yeah, maybe like 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
I know you walk fast. Not everyone has a 6'4" with long legs.
We'll see. I mean, you gotta get your car. All right. So great questions today. Thank you so much for those. If you have a question for an upcoming podcast, let me know. It's Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Just put listener question in the header and we'll get to it right away. Don't forget, our podcast are always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World vacation. And don't forget, those 2024 packages were released today, so we can book 2023 Walt Disney World vacations and 2024 Walt Disney World vacations. Now, exciting times. And remember, 2024 vacations have Disney dining plans available, quick service and standard Disney dining plans. Yes, Disney listened, and we can include the food now. So just swing by the website, themagicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote form. And if you mention the show, that quote comes to me, and I would love to work with you and help you plan a magical Disney vacation. Also, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, and Adventures by Disney as well. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com. Just click through that anytime you shop online. It really helps us out throughout the year. Again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who support our show, make everything possible. You allow us to upgrade our video systems here that we're using now. It's really helped the show get better. And our patrons get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. So if you'd like to join us and support us over there, we'd love it. Come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Scott a follow on the social media. He's at EpScott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. So give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter. We'd love to talk to you this week. And of course, we'll have a live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can watch the show and be a part of it. Give us a call. We'll talk Disney with you. All right, we're going to jump out of here. We'll be back again on Friday, where we are going to do one of our drafts. That's right. We have a good time with those. We got a lot of great feedback last time we did a few of those shows, and we're going to draft a few topics. We don't know what we're going to draft yet, so stay tuned for that. We'll let you know on the social media, but it's going to be fun. So until we get back together, you guys have a great Wednesday. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me say that one.
So my internet must have been bad. Like on that first question, like I couldn't really hear you. So I hope it went through all right.
Fine.
Okay. It was the one about the blanket, and I was like, "Oh, I think I know what he's asking."
I could hear the headlights. Like, what I say?
Yeah, so I was just gonna roll with it. My neighbors behind me are like building these, like putting these posts in flower pots and like building like these shade, like some shade in their backyard. Looks kind of interesting.
That is good, dude. My guy behind us, he smokes stuff, and it smells so good. He's smoking it right now.
Yeah, I got a guy in the front of the neighborhood that does that every time I walk by, and he's outside. I'm like, "What are you smoking today?"
Yeah, he started this morning too. So that
yeah.
when I go out there, it is going to be smelling so good. He's still out there. I'm looking. Yeah, because when I take Riley out there, I'm like, oh, it smells so good. Okay, what have we done? I'm trying to think. What would be something fun that we haven't done? We need 3 categories.
I have one.
Write it down.
Let's draft photo pass spots.
Okay, that's one. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Souvenir. We've done gift shops, but we have not done like an item like in a gift shop.
I'm trying to think if I can think of like we were doing top 3 or top 5.
Whatever you want.
There's only 2 of us. So probably should do 5
or 4.
or 4.
I think we did 4 the last time it was you and me, or maybe it was 5. I don't know. It might have been 5.
Okay, I guess I could come up with.
Well, just a suggestion.
No, it's fine. I just gotta think of. Let's see. SOU.
I mean, there's many different souvenirs. I mean, I think we could do it.
Okay, so photo spots, souvenirs, and let's let me think. Trying to think something that's kind of obscure, but still. Have we done modes of transportation?
Are there that many?
So like boats, monorail, skyline. Not that many. What about lands? Like at all the theme parks?
There we go. Let's do a land. Let's do a land draft.
Lands. Okay, that'll be a fun one. Okay, we'll do that one last. I think that one will be the best. Lands. I got that one. Oh man, my stomach is making so much noise. Yes. See, people love the draft. So go hang on. This is the most important part. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's why I'm turning down my my headphones right now.
You didn't even flinch. I was like, oh no, he's not hearing it.
I was so focused on my bio.
Bathrooms. That'd be a good one.
Oh yeah. Do you want to do that instead, or
Yeah, let's do bathrooms instead of like, okay, which one should we throw out? Let's keep lands. So
I really dig the. You're going to be surprised at what you think of with the photo pass spots.
okay,
So I think that's a good one.
I mean, we'll do this because we got to do another draft. We're gonna do so. Throw out souvenirs. You think?
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Do bathrooms. Do bathrooms instead of souvenirs.
Yeah, that's fine.
This will be hilarious. Now we got to save that one for the last one. Speaking of, hang on, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'm not gonna make it 30 minutes. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
All right. So this is. let's all throw in some funny questions about Mike, and I can share them. Hey Kim. See, I was thinking about you with the photo pass. Like, that's the thing. I think Mike was kind of dogging on my ideas. I like how he's like, oh yeah, those are good. Like, oh, but let's do lands because I came up with that one. That one's the best. But no, I do like the I like the bathrooms. I think when he starts thinking about the photo pass one, he's going to be surprised how many spots there are. Ooh, I like the pool bar one too. So we did one on lounges before. I think it was the first draft we did, but I like the pool bar one. We included some pool bars though, so we had like pedals on there. The one at Caribbean Beach we had on there too. So that could be doable though. We could probably do that one.
Back. Okay, close and start. Okay, this is gonna be fun. So we'll start with the photo spots. So let me do this real quick. Where's that thing? This is 2297. Mike and Scott draft top WW photo pass spots lands and bathrooms. Play along with show. Okay. Here we go. 2297. Welcome to episode 2297 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to the first weekend of June 2023. Hope you're having a great weekend already. Let's get it started right now by talking some Disney. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play a game. We're going to have a draft today. And to have my draft, no one else. We got my brother from another mother, my good buddy, Scotty G from up in Michigan. Scott, what's going on? Let's have a draft today.
Let's do a draft. Happy Friday. It's draft day. It's been a short week for a lot of us, but maybe a long week, depending on if you're a travel agent. You might be putting in some long hours.
Speak for yourself, brother.
I need to get on that 2024 too, because there's something called Marathon Weekend, and I'm often out of DVC points, as you know, Mike. So I'm gonna need Alani is killing me with that, though. That's taking up like my whole year's worth of points. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna need to reach out to my travel agent this week too for some dates.
We will get everybody taken care of. Remember, we don't have to book everything on day one. Stuff will still be there day 2, day 3, but we'll get everybody squared away. And I appreciate your support, so it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get there. Dining plans are awesome. Tickets never sell out. Disney will always have tickets, and things are going to be fine. Everybody, we're going to make it. We're going to make it.
So I bet you're ready for the weekend to kick off, though, right? You're ready for some LS Tekka?
Please. Yes. Tonight, LS Tekka will taste the number 15 combination plate will taste all the better because my fingers will hopefully get an hour off, which will be beautiful. So you guys have any plans for this? I know last weekend was epic for you guys. You guys are chilling out this weekend?
Yeah, more chilling out this weekend. Emily still has 2 more weeks of school, so on Friday they're doing their band banquet awards. So today, we'll be at the school doing their band awards, which is kind of cool because then you learn about like where all these seniors are going to college. Like that's always interesting to me. Like where are the seniors going? And shoot, that's going to be like next year with Emily being a junior. That's when you start doing college visits and all that. So that's going to be me soon, So
that is crazy because I still see Emily and Mal, like I can't remember. You said college visits. I'm like, oh man, what?
Yeah, I know that's going to be next year for us. So it's always, I like to know where all these kids are going, what kind of scholarships they got, things like that. So like the band banquets are kind of fun. So I'm excited for that. And then I'll probably play a round of golf or something and maybe do some more cruise planning because my gosh, we're less than 5 weeks to go. We're cruising, Mike.
Everybody should be checked in by this point, right? I mean, I checked in. Yeah. By the way, I didn't even talk about this earlier in the week on the podcast. I should have brought this up. Of course, the day of my check-in, I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. I'm an old dude. I stay up till 11 because I'm in the central time zone. I'm like just killing time. Like I have a Nintendo Switch I got like last year for Father's Day or something, or for my birthday. The girls got it for me. I never play the thing, but I downloaded MLB 22, the old version, because it was like on sale for like nothing because it's the old version now. So I'm trying to figure out how to play this. It's so complicated to do anything on these. I used to play hardball on the Commodore 64. It's like 2 buttons. So I'm trying to get like Shohei Ohtani's like throwing me like heaters. I can't figure it out. Anyway, I'm trying to stay up late to check in. Of course, like I stay up all this time and the website's down. It's for maintenance. I'm like, you're kidding me on the day I need to check in. Oh, finally got checked in the next morning.
I did mine this morning at the time of recording. So it worked out because it was Memorial Day. So I just like grinded it out, stayed up to midnight. I couldn't log in at first. There were some issues there. But yeah, so I know this is kind of late news, but I think in real time though, Mike, I think I'm going to make a post on the Facebook group because I did hear some people reach out like, hey, there was other people on my reservation. They asked me if I want to give them charging privileges. So there was like some confusion there because like some of us are linked. So I think it'll be good to get that word out there that, hey, just because, I might be linked to your reservation, that doesn't mean you don't want to give me charging privileges. I'll be happy to take it, though.
I mean, like if you want to pay for everybody that's linked, actually it's just for dining purposes because Disney Cruise Line during COVID, one of the cutbacks they had was groups. They got rid of a lot of groups coordinators and groups people. So it's a little bit more challenging this time around than the other 5 podcast cruises to link everybody for groups because they don't have people that do that anymore. But one of the ways you can guarantee a group to be together is to link reservations together. So we're getting creative in how we do that. So that's why some people those are going to be your table mates most likely for dinner. So that's how we did that. But yeah, we just figure everybody that's cruising is cool and nobody's going to unless you want to pick up everybody else's tab, you can do that. I mean, that'd be super cool of you to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Just be on the lookout. I would just say be on the lookout.
I didn't pick you up, so I'm sorry. I did not do that.
Because like a lot of people just hit like check all because they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my whole family trip. But be careful when you hit check all because you might be checking in other people too for charging. So
well, I think the check all though was only for your cabin, and then you had to really go beyond that to get to the other cabins. So because I mean, I was even nervous to hit check all because Mallory's in my cabin and she thinks she's like, I don't know, the girl from High School Musical, the Sharpay or whatever, and she wants to live the big life, and I'm not about that. So it just makes me nervous. Anyway, so today we are going to do a draft. We're going to have 3 rounds of 4, and it's going to be up to you guys on social media. Be our guest, Mike at Epscott. Let us know, tag both of us, and just let us know who won each round. So the whole thing is you got to look at the total package. Who has the best overall team, if you will, of these categories, and our 3 categories that we just came up with. And I think this is going to make a fun podcast episode, if I do say so myself. We're going to draft the best photo pass spots at Walt Disney World. We're going to also draft the best restrooms at Walt Disney World. And we're going to draft the best lands around Walt Disney World from the 4 theme parks. So I guess we'll start with the best photo pass spots, and I'm going to let Scotty have the first pick in the first round. So to get this thing kicked off, let's get it going.
All right. So we're doing the best photo pass spot. There's so many great ones. And this seems like an easy, like I'm going to take this one because it seems like the most popular one. Maybe not necessarily the best, but I like it a lot. Everyone uses it, right? I'm going with, so there's like 4 different Main Street USA photo passes. As you're going up, like there's so many different spots. But I'm going with the one that's like right in front of like the partner statue. That's my favorite because you get a closer look of the partner statue. And then you got the castle right behind you. It's usually crowded. It's a great place where I like to do my Run Disney Medal photo spot. So I'm going with Main Street USA in front of the partner statue as my number 1 pick for the photo pass spot.
Solid choice. And I think a lot of people would agree with you on that one. I'm going to go with my first pick in the first round. We're going 4 picks for this, for each category. I'm taking over at Epcot. Now there's a couple of them for Epcot in front of Spaceship Earth. I'm going to take the photo pass spot. Now there's a couple again for this one. It's in front of the, I don't know what you call it even, that crystal pylon thing, the kind of retro thing they put up a year or so ago. So it's, you know where I'm talking about, Scott, because we get our picture taken there. So it's in front of this. So it's on the
kind of by like that fountain kind of, right?
Or, yeah, but it's not on the Spaceship Earth side. It's more towards the touch point side. There's a photo pass photographer standing there closer to the like touch points, and you get the fountain and those crystal things and the Spaceship Earth in the picture. So it's kind of more of a comprehensive picture. So that's one I'm going to go with. It's because I like that crystal pylon.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
that's my picture too.
That's a cool spot. It's funny when you think about this, like, because there are like around that entrance to Epcot there's like 4 or 5. There's 4 or 5 like on Main Street. It's amazing like how many different areas you can go just from walking like 100 feet into the park. It's kind of crazy. But no, that's a good one. I'm gonna stick with Epcot for number 2 for me. If you come through the other entrance of Epcot, it's the International Gateway. You go through like France and World Showcase. I love that photo pass where you have like the Eiffel Tower in the background, like you're on that bridge right there, like on the way to France, like leaving the UK or coming from the International Gateway, day or night. I just love doing that. I just don't see a lot of like photo pass people there. It's kind of inconsistent, like when you see one, but every time I see one, I make sure we stop for it because it's just a awesome setting in there with the Eiffel Tower in the background.
That is a good one. Yeah, and that one feels very exotic. Like it does make you feel like you're in a different almost country. That one, yeah. it does feel like very French to me because I don't travel outside the country. It doesn't feel very exotic to me.
And the best is if you do it in the morning when there's not a whole lot of people around there too. Yeah.
Yeah. People are, like, yeah, exactly. Wearing like sleeveless shirts and, the beer in their hand. Exactly. Exotic. Exactly. Totally. Okay. My second pick in the second round is going to be, I love this one because we've done this one together. We've actually got some epic pictures here. It's on Sunset Boulevard at Hollywood Studios with the Tower of Terror behind us, where you're past that little half street. You're almost you're more than halfway down Sunset, and there's like a there's a photo pass photographer there, and sometimes they'll have you act scared, or they'll have somebody like laying on the ground or something. They'll have you act with the tower, especially if it's like dusk or it's nighttime and the tower's lit up, and they'll have you kind of act the part. We've had some actually after races where we've had medals and they've had you act like, oh, okay, you're dead, or
Yeah.
you're wore out. We've had some epic pictures there, but I think the Tower of Terror behind you on Sunset's a great photo pass.
I agree. The craziest one was when we went even further down, like closer to the Tower of Terror, and that guy was like, I don't know if it was like his last day being a photo pass or whatever. He was like, do whatever you want. Do you want to lay down on the ground? And like, remember, I got on the ground for a couple of them. Like,
no, you're supposed to tell us. Direct the shot.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, no, you do what you want. I'm here for you. I think that's what he kept saying. But no, I do love the sunset one, and like that's a good one, night or day. Depending on the day or night. Like I like those more like at like sunset or dusk. Like that's a really pretty shot with the tower back there. So excellent pick, Mike.
All right, you got round 3.
All right, I'm gonna go to the fourth remaining theme park that we have not been to yet with our picks, and I'm going with the one where, so it's at Animal Kingdom, obviously, because we haven't picked that one yet. So you're like in Asia, kind of heading towards Everest, and there's like this spot, like you just keep walking straight, like you could be turning left, kind of to hit this curve to go to Everest, but instead you go straight, and it's like kind of straight down with Everest in the background. It's kind of over the water where like Rivers of Light was. I love that spot. And like a lot of times they'll do a magic shot where they tell you to like act like you're cold, so that you act like you're like frigid or whatever. And depending on the time of day too, you got like a really good sun in the background too, some good lighting. So I'm a big fan of that one over there at Animal Kingdom. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do know the one you're talking about, and that is a great spot. But I thought you were going to take my next one because mine's at Animal Kingdom too. But yeah, that one is better, I think, than mine. I even have to admit it right now because that's just a great spot. You're right. So mine for this one is going to be just the Tree of Life shot right there in front of the Tree of Life. And I just wanted, because I want to tell the story of one of the most epic photo pass pictures that, again, I took with your family when we were down there in July of 2020 during COVID.
Yeah.
We were there right after the reopening. I mean, right after. And we were there working with a great photo pass photographer. And there was nobody in the park. I mean, nobody in the park. And we were getting our pictures taken. And the photo pass photographer told us, like he said, put your arms out as far as you can put them. And he said, we're going to get a shot because there's going to be nobody in this shot with you guys standing with your arms. And it was me, you, Elizabeth, and Emily. And I think Mallory was there too.
Mallory was there too.
Yeah, so there was 5 of us. And I mean, we have our arms out as far as we can go, like fingertip to fingertip. And there is not another person in the shot behind us, to the side of us, nothing. And got the beautiful Tree of Life. It was like in the middle of the afternoon. It was wild. He's like, you'll never get the shot again. Like this is a sign of the times. But I think that's just a great spot because Tree of Life is obviously a park icon that is just, I mean, it's amazing. It looks kind of real, I mean, it's so gigantic. Obviously it's not real, but it's everybody wants to get a picture in front of it. But that's a great photo pass spot. But I love it for that story. Like that every time I see the Tree of Life, that's what I think of now.
Yep. I love that one.
Last pick.
Yeah, so I haven't been to the studios yet, so I'm gonna go to the studios. You actually took my favorite one. I love that sunset one. That was one I was gonna go for. I don't know if my facial reaction showed that I was angry, Mike, when you took that one. But so it's interesting with like PhotoPass because like depends on the time of year. Like they might have some different ones set up. So with this one, I'm going to the studios at Christmas time. And if you're in the Echo Lake area, where they have the Christmas tree, there are some great PhotoPass opportunities with the Gertie, the dino. You got the Christmas tree, you got the water. My family just loves doing that one. And sometimes they'll give you like a little sign too that says like joy or happy, whatever, something like Christmas related theme, like a little gingerbread or whatever. Something about doing that one at night again. Like I just loved like the lights of the Christmas tree in the background, the reflection of the water. So I love that spot there at Echo Lake during Christmas time.
There's nothing like the studios at Christmas. I love the aesthetic, the retro 50s, 60s, anything over there. I love the poodles.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
And we've used that multiple years as like a Christmas card photo, like, cause it's just perfect. Like, cause we're normally like wearing like warmer clothes or whatever. So so it looks more Christmassy. Like we're not wearing like shorts and a polo because of the time of year, So we look Christmassy with our outfits, and you got the beautiful Christmas tree, the reflection. They got Gertie with like the ornament in its mouth. Like it's a great spot.
And the thing is, like, I mean, this has nothing to do with PhotoPass, but you and I are hugely into music, and like the Christmas background loop that they're playing with this retro like decorations. I mean, it is, you're just standing there, and like when I'm there, I'm just like, this is perfect.
They
like,
just kind of wish they would just make that area of like Hollywood Studios just all the time Christmas.
I know. Seriously, I mean, like, I know you probably get burned out on it, but man, like, it's so great to see. They do not need to change that, how they do that. That needs to stay. That is, they've hit a home run with that. Okay, my last one, because you kind of did a specialty one, so I'm going to do a specialty one too. It's during the Halloween season, and I don't know if it's only during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, because I've done it. It's over at the Haunted Mansion. There's a PhotoPass photographer in front of the Haunted Mansion taking your picture either in front of the carriage right there, or sometimes there's even like what's the name of the ghost, or
you're talking about the dog, like this.
There's a lady out there sometimes, like with the fog machine and all that. Who is that? I don't know. Yoda, is it? Because she's in the Haunted Mansion.
It's not, and we're gonna be criticized heavily by not knowing the name.
I don't know who it is. There's a lady out there though that kind of talks to the guests that are in the queue.
She's amazing during the parties, right? Like, she's so interactive, talking to you in the queues. Yeah, and like I know exactly what you're talking about. I love that spot with the carriage. And again, like that's another great nighttime one, right? Because I mean, it's during the party. And it just makes like the Haunted Mansion is lit. So Disney is so good at like lighting.
Yes,
setting the lighting for all their spots, right?
Dude, like the picture I had fog in it. Like, and I'm a sucker for fog. Like, because that makes the picture just like look crazy cool. Like,
so
right at night and lights.
Yeah, and Kim is in the chat as a great PhotoPass photographer friend of ours, and she's like just blowing up the chat with all these great ideas too. But I thought that's where you're going. I thought you were going with the zero, like because the magic shots, which you really haven't even talked about, really, outside of like the Everest where you're acting cold or whatever. But they have a fun one where they put the Nightmare Before Christmas dog zero in that same spot at Haunted Mansion. So you get, not only do you get the great carriage, the character out there, then you can do the magic shot too. So it's an excellent. I think it's like a steal in the fourth round there, Mike. So nice pick.
All right, so there we go. So did you write them down, or do we have to go over? I don't know if you did.
I wrote them down. I'll try to tackle it. My handwriting's not the best, right now. But I got the partner statue / castle, like right up there in Magic Kingdom. At Epcot, I have the Eiffel Tower as you're coming in from International Gateway. Animal Kingdom, the Everest PhotoPass, and then Hollywood Studios Echo Lake at Christmas time. Mike, you have front of Epcot, like off to the side there, so you can like get like Spaceship Earth, the fountain, those crystals, everything over there. You have Sunset Boulevard about halfway up on Hollywood Studios. You have Tree of Life right there in the front where we had the epic, like, here's the 2020, here's the parks in 2020. Let's spread our wings and fly photo there in front of the Tree of Life. And then you have the Magic Kingdom one you just talked about during the Halloween party right there by Haunted Mansion.
All right. So you got to let us know on social media at Be Our Guest Mike at Epscott who had the best PhotoPass spot draft. All right. We're doing 2 more topics. Next, let's go with Walt Disney World lands. Let's save the restrooms for the last category.
You didn't want to have the restrooms be number 2?
I like it. I had to flip back because I had it queued up for the draft board, but there you go. Making me work. Okay, that was good. That was worth it. Okay, so we have lands. So we're going to draft our top lands around Walt Disney World. Now, this is going to be tough, man, because I have the first pick in this one. If I had to pick any land, because again, you mentioned something that I think carries over from PhotoPass spots to lands, and it could be time of day, time of year, even. Could totally change how I feel about something. But if I'm going to pick a land, man, this is tough saying what's my favorite overall land of any of them.
Tough,
man. What am I going to pick? Because if I pick one, I'm giving everything else back. I'm going to take. Wow, this is tough. This is hard. This is really hard. I'm going to take World Showcase at Epcot. That's got a lot.
Oh, you're taking up a half a theme park.
Well, I mean, it is a land. I mean, it is. It's you got the 3 lands in the old Future World, but World Showcase is a land. I mean,
wow,
take it.
Yeah. I guess technically speaking, that would be a land. Yeah. So Mike just stealing the draft, basically.
I'll take Epcot. I'll take Epcot.
basically you just take all of Epcot. I mean,
There's other parts of Epcot.
well, I don't know what I can add to that, but yeah, World Showcases I often say is like my favorite spot to be in all of Walt Disney World. So I'd say you did well with that first pick.
We'll leave the rest of Epcot as Future World, so you could take the rest as Future World if you want. Like you get all the rest of Epcot if you wanted to take it.
I could, but I'm not going to do that right now, at least. I always say this is like my favorite land in the Magic. I feel like I got to take my favorite land in the Magic Kingdom as my number one pick. My family disagrees heavily with me on this, but they're not here. They're not doing the draft. So I'm going with Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom as my number one. For so many reasons, right? The day versus night contrast, like nighttime in Tomorrowland doesn't get any better for me at Magic Kingdom. You got the background loop, you got the neon lights, you got the People Mover, you got Space Mountain, you got Buzz, you got Tron over there now. I mean, it's just loaded with so many great things. It's just missing like an epic restaurant. I mean, it's got, I guess you could kind of say Cosmic Rays is part of it, maybe. Maybe that's Magic Kingdom. Like, I mean, Fantasyland. Well, I don't know.
The Cosmic Rays. I mean, think about it. Cosmic Rays. That's got to be Tomorrowland because it's got Sunny Eclipse. He's like an alien.
Yeah. I think what they need now is a table service in Tomorrowland. Yeah. That would just make it the ultimate best land. But I'm going with Tomorrowland as my number one.
That works. All right, so I'm with Tom here in the live chat because this is what I was debating if I was gonna not take World Showcase. It is Adventureland at the Magic Kingdom, and especially at night. Because it's just at night, it's better. Like it feels like they kind of bring the background loop up a little bit more with the drums. I love the background loop in Adventureland.
Oh yeah.
And think about the attractions you got. You got Jungle Cruise, you got Pirates, you got Enchanted Tiki Room. And think about the other things you have. You have Dole Whips, you have Citrus Swirls if you're into those. You have Tortuga Tavern when it's open.
Monte Cristo, apparently, when it's open.
Maybe. You have Skipper Canteen. You have a sit-down restaurant over there. And you just it's a very just beautiful place. It's lush. You got the Swiss Family Treehouse if you need to get some steps in. You're gonna climb some stairs, get some exercise. And no, it's a great place to take pictures too. I've been going through that lately more than I used to. But it's a cool. I mean, this is how sad it is, right? What's the one thing in the dead center of Adventureland? It's the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. I didn't even say it, but
yeah,
obviously that's there too, a spinner. But it's got a lot going on. But I think the most thing is atmosphere at night, and you got classic attractions like Pirates and Jungle Cruise. So I'm going to go Adventureland, pick number 2 for land.
Awesome.
What you got?
Very good. So for my number 2, I think I'm going with what I consider like the most detailed, the most like the biggest scope. I mean, it's just a gorgeous land. It's beautiful during the day with the water features, but at night with the ground, all the glowing, it's just the scope of the whole land is amazing. You got 2 great attractions, the best counter service in the park. It's at Animal Kingdom. I'm going with Pandora as my number 2.
Nice.
It's just think about like the scope, like all the waterfalls, the lushness, like it's just an amazing, huge land where like, even if they didn't have those 2 attractions there, like I would just love walking through there because there's so many things to see and do. Like they got those drums that you can bang on, like the waterfalls are amazing. That's another great photo pass that I missed too, right over there. Yep. But just like I just love the size of it. And then you got Flight of Passage and why can I think I like the other one better? The
Na'vi River
Thank you. I just wish Na'vi River Journey was like another minute or and a half long.
It's short, but it's so great. I agree with you on that totally.
Yeah, but it's so cool to see so many cool effects. But I'm going with Pandora as number 2. You got Satuli Canteen too, Mike.
Oh yeah, you got probably the best counter service on property right there in your land, and you got the floating mountain, which still amazes me to this day when you see that. Like they pulled it off. Like that's one of the craziest looking things ever. Still, that it's been there for now. What 5? How long's Pandora been open? 5 years.
I think it was 2017.
That's crazy.
Because it was like right before like our cruise on the Fantasies when like it opened. I think so. Yeah. Wow.
Good pick.
So we're talking almost 6 years.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I can't believe I'm getting my 3rd pick here, though. I can't believe it's still alive. I'm taking Galaxy's Edge and Disney's Hollywood Studios because it's a solid land, and I can't believe it slipped this far. I mean, think about it. Just for the fact. Think about this. I'm not a big fan of Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run is a ride I can take or leave. Like it's a simulator ride, and I'm not good at simulator rides. Me and simulator rides just don't match up very well. But the fact that I can see the Millennium Falcon like in physical form it with, with how Galaxy's Edge looks, how Batu looks with the cliffs and the, sitting in the land. And there are, first order stormtroopers walking around. Sometimes you'll see Chewbacca. Sometimes you'll see Rey. The sounds, you'll actually hear freighters flying over your head, and you'll see people walking around with blue milk, and people are walking around with lightsabers, and you can get a Ronto wrap, and you can go, you see people walk around with droids, that they built that day. I mean, it's pretty dang immersive, even if you're not there to ride rides. And of course, you got Rise of Resistance, probably the most technically advanced. I wouldn't even say ride or attraction. It's like an experience because it's so long and involved. It's a show. It's a ride. It's a whole big deal. It's an experience. You got Oga's Cantina, which is a really cool little place. It's like going into, a New Hope, going into the cantina almost. You got DJ Rex in there spinning there's a lot going on there. And I mean, there's times I don't go in there, but when I go in there and really spend some time, you got to appreciate all the stuff. You got X-Wing fighters, characters, the Millennium Falcon is worth the price of admission alone. So I'm taking that as my third pick. I love that area. No,
that's a good pick. I get lost in there a little bit. I get confused, which might be part of the beauty of that land too, in a way. Like it's easy to get lost in there. I'm just not. It just doesn't compare to like Pandora, which is like another newer land, right? I just prefer. I mean, Pandora does more for me, but you're absolutely right about Galaxy's Edge with the Millennium Falcon. Like that is the Millennium Falcon in that land. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, it's just like when you see it, it's unreal, but you're right. The comparison between Pandora and Galaxy's Edge is a little stark, right? Because I do feel more uncomfortable in Galaxy's Edge and I feel more comfortable in Pandora. And I think it's exactly what you said. And I didn't even think about this until you just said this, that Pandora has more water and it's more lush. And it just feels more comfortable. Like it feels more inviting. Like when you're in Pandora and like in Batu, it feels more like you're like in a desert or, and it's meant to feel that way, but it does feel a little bit more abrasive. Like it doesn't feel like a more hospitable place. Like you're in there and have it, but you're kind of in a way wanting to get out too at the same time. Yeah. I never thought about that, man. You're making me think about this now. Yeah, it's weird.
That's what I'm here for, Mike.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to stay in the studios. And I'm not even going to go with the next newest land to Galaxy's Edge. I'm actually going with an older one. And we talked about earlier with the photo pass, and that's Sunset Boulevard. Nice. There's just something about coming up Hollywood. You make that right turn, and then you see the tower right there. The background loop, you and I are just like
the best.
Oh, it's so good. I just love like the big bands, the jazz that's playing on Sunset. And then the gift shops are great. You got two amazing attractions with Tower of Terror. And then you got Rock and Roller Coaster, which just reopened. And then Fantasmic is right there too. Like you can't forget about Fantasmic, one of the best nighttime shows. So there's just something about that land. You got all those food options. There's some good drinks you can have. It's just and there's benches everywhere. That I feel more like Disneyland. I feel like I'm at Disneyland more when I'm there, probably because it's like Sunset Boulevard, which is California themed. But all the benches makes me think I'm at Disneyland because there's so many great places to sit and people watch there too. I just wish we had our Streetmosphere out there. That's the one thing that's missing. I wish I could bring back for that land. I'm going with Sunset as number 3.
You forgot about Lightning McQueen.
How could I forget? That's like the one attraction I have not done at Walt Disney World.
It's okay. I went back there one day when I was super hot and I was by myself.
Yeah, I do forget about that one though. You're right.
Yeah. I actually just want to see the venue, right? I just want to see what it looked like on these. It was a cute little show.
Yeah. And the palm trees are amazing on that strip too.
Let me ask you this real quick, because you mentioned about Rock and Roller Coaster reopening this past week, kind of soft open, and then it opened. Were you shocked that they just opened it as is, like that it had no major changes? Were you expecting some kind of a light retheme or any kind of a retheme? What did you think about that?
I think we talked about this on a live show once. I was expecting to see like better audio maybe for like the ride vehicles, because Guardians like is so good with like the soundtrack, like how you can easily hear it. When I'm on Rock and Roller Coaster, sometimes the audio is kind of scratchy, like you can't really hear it that well. So I was hoping to see improvement there. I don't know if they did anything with the audio, but I did read like it's basically the same thing. Like there's like no changes. Like what? Then why was it down?
It was down a long time too.
It was like before Princess Weekend, so like 3 months at least.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes so long for paint to dry.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they did a lot. I'm just kidding. Okay, so my fourth one, obviously next to Galaxy's Edge, I'm saying the studio's Toy Story Land. I love this. I was there. I get to go to the media event when this opens, so I love this land. It's so cool. But Toy Story is my favorite pick. It's probably my favorite Disney movie. Like I love because it's my generation. All those I had a lot of those toys. That's the kind of stuff I played with the Slinky, Slinky Dog and all that stuff, the space toys. And Buzz Lightyear is my favorite character. I love the Slinky Dog Dash. That's a great coaster. I know it's not the scariest coaster, but it's just fun. It's got that blast off at the beginning. It's got the little humps. I love that. Now I've never been to Rodeo Roundup, and here's my biggest disappointment is that, you probably saw this, they got rid of the big pencils because people were stealing them.
Why does that not surprise me though? You know what I mean?
We talked about this on the Sunday Night Call-In show. How do you steal a pencil that is like 2.5 feet long? Come on now.
So here's my thought on that, because I did read that. I mean, I was vacationing all last weekend in Michigan, but I did catch some news of that. My thought is someone probably stood up, kind of put it in their pocket, and like put their shirt over it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Come on, people.
It is work. But because I was trying to think this in, you can't put it like in a purse, but you probably put it in a bag. Like if you had a big shopping bag, you kind of throw it in there. Like people just ruin things for us.
Right, 100%. Like one of the things, I know that's stupid, but one of the things I wanted to go there. I love barbecue, so I was going to go there eventually. I didn't have to go there like right away, but I was going to get there. And I wanted to take a picture with the big pencil, because it would look funny, just part of the deal. And then we're not going to have big pencils anymore because people are stealing them. And I'm just
unfortunate.
But it's got, now it's got the Woody's Lunchbox, which has good little counter service, fun stuff, Pop-Tarts and tater tots and fun foods. But I mean, it's got, Toy Story Mania. It's got
I thought about doing that. I've thought about putting that over Sunset, but like there's something about Sunset that just seems more classic to me.
Sunset is more classic.
Yeah, but Toy Story is good. It's well themed, right? And then it's got that day night thing too. Like
it's way better at night. Way better at night because it's hot during the day. It's actually not very enjoyable during the day, especially during the summer. That is a hot place to be in the summer. Like because those Christmas lights at night.
Yeah,
nice. But during the day, hotter than smoke.
You're hurting yourself there. Like you're wrapping up your draft by saying like, but the land I just picked, it's not very cool.
I'm just laying it out there. People know. Like if you've ever been in Toy Story in July, like at 2:00 in the afternoon,
it's so bad.
Not fun. But at night, it's awesome. Okay. Those are mine. So get your last one in for this round.
I know. So you kind of tried to open that door to where I could take all of Future World as a land, but it just doesn't feel right to me because they have like these separate neighborhoods now.
I took World Showcase. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because we're missing like a quintessential land that I think needs to be part of a draft. Might not be my favorite, but it's the one most people think of, and that's Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom.
Like, sure.
I mean, it's like the classic land, right? Like it has the most attractions, and I wish I could steal like Disneyland's Fantasyland and bring it out here because that is the best land.
It's way better.
But there's just something like, I mean, that's why like that's why you bring like your young family to Walt Disney World in the first place, is to run through Fantasyland, go on Dumbo. I'm going to count Dumbo. I mean, I know it's like Storybook Circus now, kind of like, but I'm going to count Dumbo. I'm going to count all those things over there, like Little Mermaid, but like it's just got the classics. Peter Pan, you got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you got like a kid's like first coaster over there with Barnstormer too. It's just what I would consider like the quintessential land, so I got to go with Fantasyland.
That's a good call. I'm glad you got that in there, so we didn't not miss Fantasyland because that'd have been
terrible. I mean, there's so many great lands. Like I'm thinking of so many different things in the back of my head. I mean, we can only pick 8, so we're gonna hurt someone's feelings, I know for sure, but that's what happens when you draft, though, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're going to hurt someone.
All right. So go ahead and recap, and then we'll get on to our last category, which will be Walt Disney World bathrooms.
All right. So Mike took half of Epcot. He took World Showcase, Adventureland and Magic Kingdom, Galaxy's Edge, and Toy Story Land. So pretty solid lineup there, especially with World Showcase. I went with Tomorrowland, Pandora, Sunset Boulevard, and Fantasyland.
I think we both have really good picks, though.
Those are good.
Just go to those 4 lands for an entire vacation. You're not doing you're doing
good.
Yeah, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. All right, last round is going to be bathrooms, top 4 for each. We're picking them, and Scotty G's got the first pick in the first round.
Bathrooms. Great category.
This is important.
It is important. Oh, with the first one too, like I feel so much pressure on this.
Okay, here's the thing though, right? you might not want to give away your best one. Like,
I know that's the thing. You don't want to.
This show gets a lot of downloads. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag, but this could change the availability of a stall at a crucial time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's why I'm just going to go with the most popular ones. So, so those Adventureland bathrooms are looking pretty good for my number one pick.
The ones that are by the Swiss Family Treehouse.
Yeah.
Those things are gross.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny, our buddy Brandon in the chat actually has the one I was going to go with number one here, and it's in Magic Kingdom. I'm going with the Tangled bathrooms. Like, I feel like that has to be number one because it might not necessarily be the best, but it's what changed the bathroom game. I feel like at Walt Disney World, like they created this whole area. Like, it looks themed. You got Rapunzel's Tower. It looks like it's going to be like this attraction. It's got this great seating area and all this. And you know what it is? It's a bathroom, but it's an awesome bathroom.
It's the bathroom that the people that are not like super uber Disney fans, they see it. They're like, oh, dude, I got to ride that attraction. Then you walk back there, you're like, okay, it's a bathroom.
Yeah. So
what?
I would love for some ladies in the chat to like comment about like what it's like over there, because I can only really speak to the men's room, but it is so cool because it's like, I mean, it's got the Rapunzel theme, the Tangle theme, and you got like the pots and pans like hanging. Yeah, the skillet. Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I said pots and pans. You got the skillet hanging. You got like the wanted posters, like, you know, Flynn said pardon on it, like, and they're like, it's very clean. There's lots of stalls and other places in there, lots of sinks and everything. I just love that spot. It's a great bathroom.
Good pick. That's a good one. All right. So for my first pick in the first round of the bathrooms of Walt Disney World, I am going to be a true American, and I am going to take the restrooms that Sam Eagle himself, when he has to relieve himself, he heads directly to the American Adventure Pavilion and uses those right there. The new restrooms, not because now you have two, and the old ones are over. If you're facing the American Adventure Pavilion on the left, those are the classic restrooms. I'm going to go with the new and improved ones on the right, over by the store and the Epcot, the Kid Cot station. Plentiful, clean, just nice, updated. And I think that's a great spot because you're halfway through World Showcase. No matter which way you come, you start in Canada, you start in Mexico. If you can make it halfway around, you got plenty of restrooms, because some of the places have restrooms like Japan, but you're talking like 2 or 3 stalls. So you can make it to America. We can all have a place to use the restroom and you're good to go. Clean spots. So America for the win.
That's the best bathroom in World Showcase for sure. I mean, when you're in a pinch, you might go to Germany, you might go to Morocco, but those bathrooms in America, like, they're the cleanest, they're good size. You do have to work a little bit though, because they're like way back there. So you can do.
They are.
It's not like it's in the front of the pavilion. You gotta hike. So if it's an emergency, if you see anyone running that's not during a Run Disney race around that area, you know where they're heading.
Yeah, it's to say runners know where really good restrooms are, because sometimes we hit these. If you're not a runner, you don't know this, but here's the thing, and here's what veteran Run Disney people know that like a first time Run Disney person doesn't know. If you're a veteran Run Disney runner, you know that you don't have to use porta potties on the course. Now, some people are really rude and they just go into the trees. Don't do that. That jerk move. But you make it to a theme park and you can go into theme parks because the restrooms are open. It's such a rookie move to go into the porta potty like 5 minutes before you're unless it's an emergency, before you make it to a theme park. You can use the restrooms there, and they're usually, sometimes they're nutty, but I've seen crazy stuff happen in the one in Tomorrowland, but we will not speak of that. Anyway, so go ahead, moving on.
So I recently discovered this next restroom. Now it's a really crowded area, so the bathroom can get busy. So it's not like you're there for privacy necessarily, but I'm always hot when I'm in Pandora, like waiting for a Satuli Canteen reservation. Because remember this last time we had one, we had to wait forever. It was blazing hot. We went into the store, remember, while we waited for our order. But there's a restroom like right around the corner there that has like the best air conditioning, I think, of any restroom. And I mean, it does get busy because it's right next to a restaurant, and there's like that drink stand right there. But there's something about that restroom that I really like. It's my favorite Animal Kingdom one. You just can't plan like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to this restroom because it would be out of the way. But if you're in Pandora, I always make sure I stop in there because that's a rule with the restrooms, right? Like everyone just stop, let's go right now, even if you don't have to. We got a good restroom here, we're gonna go, and that's my go-to at Animal Kingdom, the Pandora restroom.
That is a good one. You're right, because it for some reason, like Animal Kingdom to me is always the hottest part. I always feel like it when I'm over there, and I'm looking for cool air conditioning, and that has super cold air conditioning
there. Like, because there's other ones where, and then the funny thing about the Animal Kingdom restrooms too is like how the doors open so that you don't, get trapped with an animal in a restroom, but they don't feel that cool. You walk in there and they always still like feel stuffy and warm to me, but that one just blasts you with air conditioning. It's so good.
Because it's new, I think, or new.
Yeah, I think so. It's newer. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Okay, so my next one, we're going the opposite direction. We're gonna go to a time machine because I went to a new restroom that was like all state of the art. I'm still at Epcot, but I'm up in Future World. It's the Imagination Pavilion restroom.
You son of a gun!
That one is awesome, man. It's like stepping back into the 80s. It's got the tile from back in the 80s on the walls, and it even plays a background loop from the Imagination Pavilion, which you may or may not hear behind today's show. It's perfect. Like
the original 1983 loop. Yes.
I mean, just get you in the mood, and it's perfect. So there you go.
It's amazing.
Never anybody back there. Nobody knows it's even there. Like it's
what's surprising though, last time, because like I said to Elizabeth, hey, I'm going here because this is the spot. Like there's no one here. There was like people in there. There was a lot of people hovering around there. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, see, the word's getting out.
Word is getting out. But it is the best bathroom in Epcot. I mean, I know like the American Adventure like is the best one, and really, but
the two those now I've given the two best in Epcot.
Given the two, yep, I get you.
For real.
Yeah. Right. Man, I'm trying to think now because I've been trying to like use something from every park so far. It's kind of been my thing, but you just took my Epcot one, so thanks for that.
Let's go on the same park.
Yeah, so thanks for that. I'm gonna go to the studios, and this is kind of a newer one too, and this could be controversial because I don't think not everyone likes it, but I like the Galaxy's Edge restrooms. They're very interesting.
Weird. They are different. They are way different.
They're different. Like the sink setup is kind of different too, and like it feels like it's themed to the land to me. It's just like rustic, and like I don't know the best way to describe it except like you said, they're just weird, but they're new, they're clean. It's got great air conditioning. That's a thing with me. Like I want a restroom where I can just like cool down in for a second. But I just like the theming of it, and I just like the uniqueness. So I'm going with Galaxy's Edge's restroom.
That'll work. They are. I mean, they're one of the newer ones, and they are different, so they're definitely worth a shot there. So good stuff. Now, here's one that I always thought, this is even from way back when I thought this was kind of a hidden restroom, which it's getting more popular nowadays, but it's still, I don't think a lot of like regular guests know this one's there. It's in Adventureland at the Magic Kingdom. It's the one at the end of Pirates. You know what I'm talking about? Like you can get to it from the store. It's back in that corner, and it says like Caballeros, and I don't know what the term is for women. Damas, I think it says on the women's side. But it's kind of so you can get to it there if you just walk. There's like a jewelry stand or something there in that little plaza across from Tortuga Tavern, and you can get to it right there, and you can go directly back there. But I don't think anybody even knows it's back there. I mean, people obviously do. It's on the map, but very few people go back there, and it's never that crowded. And it's a huge bathroom in Adventureland. And again, it's kind of one of those things. It has a retro feel to it. It feels like it's still like the 70s or 80s. And I love restrooms like that where I feel like this hasn't been touched in ages, as long as it's clean, and it is, and there's plenty of restrooms back there, and it's cool. Yeah. So that's one that I go to because it's out of the way. Like, because the thing is, like, you're so close to that one that I hate over in the breezeway between Adventureland and Frontierland. That one's wild. Like everybody goes to that one because everybody sees that one. Nobody even knows that one, which is 3 minutes walk away. Nobody knows that one exists, I feel like. So I go to that one.
Yeah. What I like about that area too, I hope I'm not giving too many secrets away. But when you leave there's like this long, if you like leave that restroom and go left, there's like this long alleyway, and there's a bench there. We've sat on that bench like during fireworks, and you have like amazing view of the fireworks. Like obviously you don't see the projections because you're like blocked, but it is an awesome view of the fireworks from like this bench over there. Where one night we were just happened to be there and the show started, and we're like, oh, let's just sit here and watch Happily Ever After. It was awesome.
I know what you're talking about, but I never thought about that for the fireworks. I'm gonna give that a shot. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Okay, cool. So so this is this your
My fourth?
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, I don't want to steal away all my favorites, right? So, but
We're
this
giving it.
one, no, but this one I really like, and it has to be on a certain time of day. So you were talking in the last episode about going to the cantina in Mexico, right? And one of our secrets, I'm okay sharing this secret with everyone. Just don't tell all your friends and family about it. But if you can't find outdoor seating, La Hacienda is open during lunch to take in your food for seating.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And that's how you get a great way to sit in that restaurant and get a view of World Showcase Lagoon. And you get, here's my theme, Mike, you get a blast of air conditioning, but like no one is ever in there. Like it's always quiet. But if you keep going further down there, there's actually a restroom in there that I've never seen anyone use. So that's like my secret private restroom, is the one in the La Hacienda restaurant, only during lunch though, because obviously they're not going to let you in there during dinner time. So it has to be during a specific time of day. But that's my spot during lunch hours to go in Mexico to La Hacienda.
That's a good, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one.
Now the restroom itself on an SG rating might be lower, like a 6 or 7.
Anybody in there because nobody even knows you can even take your food in there.
Yeah, exactly. But the privacy is like on like even a higher level, I think, than the imagination one from a privacy. You know, if you need some long privacy in the restroom, that's where you're going to go in Mexico.
Okay, so I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking, do I give my last one up? Because this is my like black diamond New Year's Eve one that I've never given up, and I don't even know if this restaurant's back open because it may not be. But this was like my one that I always pulled out of my pocket on New Year's Eve when I had to use a restroom.
I'm already writing it down. I know what it is.
If you've ever been to Epcot on New Year's Eve, like finding a restroom is impossible. Like you gotta like get in line before you have to use a restroom. I would go to Restaurant Marrakesh in Morocco. And back there, they have restrooms for their restaurant that you can just walk into and get to. And they're not huge, but they're not small either. And nobody goes into the very back corner of the restaurant in Morocco. And it's a nice restroom. But I mean, you're talking about, because you got to think, like, where are people not going? And it was Restaurant Marrakesh on New Year's Eve. Nobody was going there unless you had an ADR. And so while everybody else was like queuing up for, basic restrooms like in Japan, which had like, 3 urinals and there's 79 people in line for those. And it was insanity. You had to weave your way all the way through, the little Morocco pavilion, go back to the restaurant. Obviously you had to kind of play it off like you're a patron, it's survival on New Year's Eve, people. It's just, in and out. And that was my Black Diamond tip. So I'll throw that one in just for New Year's Eve's sake. Morocco, Restaurant Marrakesh.
So we really see. We didn't even like lay these ground rules out. That's why I didn't go this way. But like resort restrooms are really my favorites. But we were talking about like if you're in like the theme parks all day,
maybe we'll do another draft down the line where resorts only. Because once we got into the theme parks, I thought, well, that would be bad. So
that's what I thought too. Yeah, we'll just stick with the theme parks.
Yeah.
I'll throw a question out there. Reach me at Epcot if you've experienced this though. I wanted to throw the Skyliner main station at Caribbean Beach because I always see that restroom and I've never gone to it. So I want to know if someone's ever gone to that restroom at the Skyliner like hub station at Caribbean Beach because I'm very curious what that's like. Have you been to it, Mike?
Nope, but I was also thinking about the restrooms at not the TCC, but the bus like hub at the Magic Kingdom because I have used those restrooms, but during a race. Mm-hmm. So I've used, like in the races, sometimes you come in through like where the buses are, and there's that restroom there right before you turn to go into the Magic Kingdom. I've used those because those at least are real restrooms, right? There was nobody going in, and I'm like, oh, this is a good spot. Yeah. And I didn't want a chance, I was like, I'm not pushing my limits. And so I went in there, and those were nice. But those again were kind of outside the gate, so I didn't throw them in. There's nothing special, but there was just nobody there.
Yeah. Well, so to recap for everyone to, criticize us and tell us what we missed in that, or get mad at the things we shared, perhaps. So for me, I have the Tangled bathrooms, Pandora bathrooms, Galaxy's Edge, and then went for my secret La Hacienda, Mexico during the daytime. You went with the American Adventure at Epcot, the Imagination Pavilion right there, like in the back side of it, on the Pirates bathroom. So like as you leave the gift shop, area, not the ones like the main Adventureland ones, the Pirates ones.
Yeah, not the Breezeway. Don't get that. That's the opposite of what I picked. Yes, no.
And then Restaurant Marrakesh was your final one.
Yes. So again, here's how it goes. Just give us your thoughts on the social media over this weekend and into next week at Epscott, at Be Our Guest Mike. Tag both of us and just give your thoughts on who has the better overall squad for each of these categories: photo spots, bathrooms, and the lands of Walt Disney World. And again, we can carry this over into the conversation on Sunday night for the live call-in show, which we hope you'll join us for. Again, we'll be broadcasting live on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Sunday night. Give us a call and just add, what do we mess up? What do we, what would you have thrown in? And if you want to have, we can draft another category if you want. We can play this game with you guys as well. So we'll do it. Let's have fun Sunday night. So be a part of the show. Don't forget, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. You know that. Check them out over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link this weekend. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons for allowing us to put this show out 3 to 4 times a week. You guys are awesome. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Our patrons get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over this week. Again, give Scott a follow at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Would love to talk to you this week on Instagram and Twitter. And we'll be back Sunday night. It's us. And we'll be talking to you, taking your calls, and let's have some fun. Let's open up the phone lines, video calls, phone calls, however you want to call us. We're going to have a good time. Add you to the conversation. So be here Sunday night. So until then, you guys have a great weekend, a great Friday. So for Scott, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Hey, Kevin, have a good cruise.
We did it. Those draft episodes are fun.
Those are fun. Let me hang on. Oh, shoot. I forgot to title it. All right. Well, we'll cut you loose so you can get with the family on the holiday. And I appreciate it.
I'm probably going to crash, man. I'm still tired. I'm so tired, man.
Too.
And it's hot. It's 85 right now. That's hot for us.
It's 85 here, too. It's exactly what it is.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. So we're recording what time tomorrow?
I don't know. What time you got to work?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be working. I mean, I guess we'll just text each other and see how we're doing. But
that's fine.
Sounds good.
Sometime.
All right.
Talk to you then.
Talk to you later, everyone. Bye.
All right. See ya. MP3. Pre-shows would be good. I like that. All righty. We'll be back again tomorrow afternoon. So join us because we're going to record the Monday show for next week tomorrow afternoon. See you guys. Have a good Monday.